First of all, I want to explain something to you, okay? Life is a game. And sometimes we forget that life is a game because it becomes not fun, because you're so mired into life that you forget that it's a game. Your job is a game. Your relationships are a game. Life is a game. So I want to reconnect you with, what does that mean that life is a game? How do you find the fun in life? How do you enjoy life? You got to understand what are the principles and the key component parts of a game. So there's three things. This isn't from me, by the way. This is from one of my mentors, L. Ron Hubbard, in a book called The Problems of Work. I've read this book numerous times, rereading it again. I get reconnected. I repeat successful actions for myself, getting connected back up to things that have worked for me in the past, that help me apply things to my life in order to make me actually influence the trajectory of my life. So I'm rereading this book. I'm coming to terms with the end of the year, and I'm reconnecting with that life is a game. And there's three component parts of this game. Okay, you've got to have freedom, right? But you also have to have barriers, because if you didn't have barriers, there would be no necessity for freedom. So think about that. So if you could be aware and you could control every aspect of your life, even though for a split second you think, oh my God, that would sound amazing. Imagine if you could control and know everything. Like, you think, wow, that would be amazing, right? But no, it would be horrendous without barriers. Imagine if you went through life with just total freedom, total knowingness, total control over every single outcome, how completely miserable you would be in life. Like, everything you touch, it would be like playing a game of chess or a game of football with yourself, and you were on the two teams. Like, if you played checkers with yourself, it's not fun. You know the outcome. You know what's the move. You know the position of the other opponent. Life would be miserable without barriers. So all the people out there that are looking at your barriers as like things that shouldn't be in your life, and as these horrible, miserable things that you're conflicted with, I'm here to tell you that you actually need those in order to be able to overcome those, in order to have the freedoms which brings the game of life. So there's three things. I've only mentioned two. I've told you about the freedom. I've told you about barriers. And the third thing is the purposes. You have to have the purpose to play the game. What is the result? What is the reward? What are you doing it all for? There must be some sort of higher purpose in order to have this game of life. So how do you reconnect with your game of life? Recognize that you are in a game. And if you don't have the barriers, if you don't have problems big enough, you're going to invent problems. You're going to invent barriers. You're going to invent these things in your life to give yourself a game, because we don't know how to do anything but play games. That's the biggest mockery, right? So we're here playing games, pretending like we're not playing games. You get stuck in the games. You forget you were playing a game. Then you actually think life is a miserable thing. But if you backtrack and you step outside of yourself for a second and you look at your life as a game, then you can actually start to like manipulate the game and then go back into your life and play the game, but from a higher powered viewpoint. Am I making sense to everybody? If I am, give me a fire or a yes. If I'm confusing you and you're like, what the hell? Give me a broken heart sign. Okay. So the thing that I do at the end of the year is I connect up with my games, that life is a game, that I have to have barriers, right? So you have to have purposes, a purpose, a mission, right? Grant and I, the secret to our success is we have a purpose that's greater than just little me old Grant or little me old Elena. My life has become so much more bigger and powerful than just myself. Now I've included all these other women. I want to empower the women and change the world. And I have all these grandiose ideas and how I can do that, right? But what does it do? It gets me active in a game of life. We have purposes, right? Now I have barriers. I have challenges, right? Because there's people out there in the world who don't want to see women be empowered. Trust me. Okay, I can confront evil. All of you people out there thinking, no, that could never happen to women on this planet. Well, I'm being facetious and sarcastic, but yes, right? My people now, my barriers become those enemies, the enemies, right? The enemies of all the people who don't want to see women and families winning. I want families to win on this planet, right? Everything that I'm doing with Grant behind the scenes, the family dynamic and all the work that it takes to make it all come together and work and thrive, right? I want families on this planet to win, to succeed. I want to be the model to make other people go out and want to have families win on this planet, right? I promise you, there are people on this planet who want families to be in ruin, who want to see you divorced, who preach it. It's everywhere, right? So, but my point to all of this is I have barriers. I have enemies. I need those as much as I hate those and protest those and my delicate little sense of self that's like, oh, I just want to be liked by everyone. Hey, you got to know your strengths and weaknesses. I talk about that all the time. I know that's my weakness, but I'm being vulnerable and I'm telling you my weaknesses. I like everybody to like me. But my point to all of this is no matter how much I want people to like me, I have to have those enemies that are against the family dynamic winning on the planet and the people against women empowerment and the people that hate on Grant and all of those. Why? Because it helps me with my game of life. Because when I overcome those barriers and I have women winning and empowering their families and families that I save from divorce that actually go into heightened levels of success, right? Now I have freedoms and happinesses and I need that. And that keeps me excited and energized in life. If I didn't have that game of life that sometimes I can forget and I'm like, I get trapped into this person's coming at us with a lawsuit and this person's accusing us of that and this person's clickbaiting saying this and that and this line and I'm like, I just want it to end. I step outside of myself and I say, wait a minute, I need all of that. Thank you to all of those people that are doing that. You're giving me stuff to focus on, my barriers to focus on, because without you, guess what? And without my purposes and without my goals, guess what my little old game would be? My little old game would be, let me be normal and average and invent problems because I have no big problems. Now I'm going to go fight with my husband and my children and argue and invent problems. Why? Because I need my little barriers, because I'm playing games. What games do you want to play? The aware games or the unconscious, small, normal games that the rest of the world is playing? You get to decide. This is your life. This is your 2023. Really, this is mindset, getting everybody geared up to step outside of yourself, make some decisions with your life, go back into yourself and play the game of life. So we all got clear right now. We're playing a game of life.